Hi, my name is Michael Marr, CEO of OnePassport. This morning I was in a meeting with a group of people from a large healthcare group, and it included IT, HR, compliance, various places. And we were there talking about immunisation management for this group, which is a common conversation lately. But some of the conversation, some of the things that were dropped into the conversation by HR and by compliance was about we could collect data from outside of the organisation. And the IT manager got a bit confused about that and said, why we have a closed system? Why would we be getting from outside? And it's a question gets raised quite a bit because there has been a paradigm shift in how information is collected, stored, managed, etc. these days. So I want to talk about that because a lot of people have a HR system, but what we're talking about is compliance. And in the heavily regulated or highly regulated industries like healthcare, aged care, disability, education, mining, construction, HR is internally focused, whereas frequently compliance is at an industry level. It doesn't matter who I work for, it's the same stuff. And I frequently might move around, or I might work for multiple employers at the same time. So my CPD is industry wide. If I move employers, it's the same stuff. So it actually saves time, saves cost, and lowers risk to both sides of the equation, both the organisation, the employer, as well as the individuals. If you look at workforce compliance as being something that is an industry-wide thing, whereas HR is an internal thing. What are some examples? Well, in healthcare, if I turn up to work at a new employer, they have to get my serology or take blood or etc. and send it away to get tests done to make sure I have a certain amount of antibodies in areas like Hep A. So that's called serology. But if I can turn up and say, here's my serology count from last week because I worked down the road at another hospital, it saves time. The nurse or the doctor can go straight to work. They don't have to wait a week for the serology to come back or go off, organize it. No one has to pay for it. It saves time and time effort. Police checks is another one. In a number of industries, including aged care, every employer said you've got to do a police check at our place. But that was because no one wanted the copy of the paper version that you used to get from the AFP. They all wanted the original. But now it's an electronic police check. There's no difference to me getting it at employer A versus employer B. If I get a link to employer A, I might as well send it to B and C as well because it updates their police check that I have on me. There's no difference. So that rule is now redundant, or that process is now redundant. Verified qualifications and experience is another one. It saves time if someone turns up and goes, kaboom, here's my experience, here's my qualifications, let me get to work. You've hired them to do a job, they want to start the job, but you've got to sit around and go, no, I need to go and independently qualify all these things. So if compliance is looked at as an industry level, and if I've done it once for employer A down the road, and then I turn up and say, here's the verified evidence for employer B, there should be a way to accept it. And that is what we do. That is the crux of what OnePassport does. We work with large organizations which use things like Oracle, HRM, SAP SuccessFactors is another, and they still use OnePassport for compliance. It's because those great, from Employment Hero through to SAP, etc., they're great HR systems. But workforce compliance in a regulated industry is at an industry level. It's the same stuff across every provider, and a lot of people move around a lot. So it's changing the thinking a little bit about how all that works. So that's why people come to OnePassport, and that's why we do things like the immunisation register, because in industries that require that, construction, mining, healthcare, aged care, disability, people move around and they need to take those vaccinations with them. They need to take their test results with them. So get your head around it, download the app, or contact us if you're an organisation and get your hands on OnePassport. Thank you. Take care.